Good afternoon, HSC 440. Diane Russo here again with a non-ASU student, Dawn, who's given permission to record this for our 5th coaching session. And with that said, here we go. Hello again, Dawn. So
Hello.
Nice to have you here.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you doing all the legwork up to this point and filling out the assessments and communication, checking in with me and allowing me to check in with you. Again, thank you for all of that. As always, our meetings and conversations, both in session as well as offline, are confidential. And other than that, is there anything in particular about this week based on your health and wellness?
I think I was able to apply a few things that we had talked about that seemed like I could. And then the things that I didn't get to apply, I kind of thought about why they didn't work as they were, what was holding me back, and what I might need to change. But there's definitely some things that applied, and it made me feel better at the end of the day when I was able to apply them and made my day much better.
Fantastic. And it sounds like we are making progress in terms of utilizing your strengths. Again, when we did the assessments, your strengths, creativity. So you said kind of rethinking and reapplying, fairness, forgiveness, gratitude, and kindness. So it sounds like you're kind of building off of your strengths to start moving forward. Fantastic. Yeah. And today, what I want to do, one of the assessments that you completed was your wellness vision. I want to kind of bring that all together. You know, we talked about your 5 strengths. We talked about the way you learn of visual, audio, kind of bring those all together to kind of really focus in on what is your vision for 3 months down the road and what are going to be the steps to get us there. So our 3-month goal with what I like to call experiments along the way, calling them experience because there is no failure when we try. Each week we may try something, and if it doesn't work, we're going to learn why it doesn't work. If it does work, we're going to build off of that. So that's what I'd like to accomplish today, to kind of get to what our 3-month end state is in the agreement of 3 months. In terms of the wellness vision, was there anything that kind of you want to talk about, anything you learned from it, or kind of caught your attention?
Well, I know that on my diet, I'm doing so much better, but I'm not doing as well as I did for a couple of months as far as being strict until I get to my goal weight. So I want to get back on that, but it seems like I'm back to a little bit of treating myself to fulfill needs, and not in a massive amount, but instead of having the vegetables and meat, I might have a little bit of pasta in the vegetables or whatever it be. I'm not being as stringent as I was, and I'd like to get back where I'm doing that so that I'm meet my goal by summertime, trying to or close to it.
And so your diet is something that you want to really focus in on, that you realized. Anything else in that?
Yeah, the exercise, the planned exercise time, I haven't got it in yet, and it's just really hard. It's when I mentioned it to my husband on his days off, which it seems like he's 3 days off a week, which end up being 4-day parts that he's around, and it makes me lose my time to be able to choose what I want to do. And so I want to try to talk to him about that and say I've got to have this in here. And so that's talking to him and saying this has got to be part of it.
So
communication, because he's very supportive of the diet and wanting me to lose weight, but that part of it, which needs to be the other half of it, he hasn't gotten on board with.
Now, did you have a chance to exercise at all last week?
Once, I think, as far as really planned, and so that wasn't, because it was just once, it made me even feel worse. I don't know. It was just,
but you got it in, and how did you feel after getting it in?
Oh, I felt good.
Okay.
And it was nice to be sore the next day.
Yeah, it's always fun to be
some of us, some people hate it, but some of us know that means that you did something.
No, and
push yourself a little bit.
How did you feel? How did it make your day, the rest of your day, go in terms of wellness and being overall wellness?
I think it was better. I have to think about that. Yeah, I think it was better. It just said, the balancing in my mind of time is really hard.
Mm-hmm.
And just at the time. And the program that I started, I need to do the videos that I was using, I think were a little bit too long as far as me letting go of that time period. It ended up being like an hour instead of the 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And I was feeling guilty as I'm looking at seeing it was an hour. So learning what this program that I'm using is about, I think I'll be better choosing, some of it and such too.
So figuring out better
which
time.
Part, yes, better time.
Okay.
And which parts I want to do that day instead of trying to do too much of the program all in one day.
Okay. So I see your creativity coming out again in terms of figuring out what works, what doesn't work. Now, in terms of what is working for you, what is there, you're retweaking your diet a little bit, trying to figure out the exercise. What about something that's working now for you? Like what has given you pride this past week in regards to things going towards that wellness?
I think at times I was able to force myself to relax a little bit more instead of being so uptight and stressed.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of letting go. That probably was the biggest thing that I did a little bit of.
No, and
to feel better.
Oh, fantastic! And how'd that make you feel when you were able to give yourself that time to relax?
And not to feel guilty about it, and to actually enjoy the moment and doing other things than what I planned.
Mm-hmm.
Like when my husband plans to just spend the day looking for paint samples, instead of just sitting there feeling guilty of all the things I should do, just letting it go, and I'll get the other things done at another time, and trying to enjoy the moment with him instead of being stressed about not getting a project done, doing something that he wants.
And it sounds to me like you're taking kind of like an internal mental breath.
Yes, that's exactly.
Okay. And now in your wellness vision, I saw a trend of, relaxing was one of them, time with your daughter, Izzy,
mm-hmm.
Kind of the self-care. Of those, what is really makes you feel alive when you think about it? Like when I do that, it makes the rest of the day.
When I not just spend time, do something quality or something she wants to do or something I plan that'll enrich both of us together,
mm-hmm.
be it exercise or crafts or art or just doing, and sometimes it's just simply sitting and watching. She wants every evening for us to spend at least 30 minutes watching, just before she goes to sleep, cuddling and watching a TV program. And
mm-hmm.
that's really important to her. And it just kind of unwinds her. And so to let myself enjoy it and not feel guilty about spending that time. I just, the guilt stuff I've got to let go because that just causes more stress.
Okay. And what would you say when talking about your wellness vision? We've touched a little bit about the nutrition side, physical fitness side, guilt-free quality time. What would you say is the most important to you? And it doesn't necessarily have to be those three.
Yeah. I think the most important is working on that goal to be healthier so I can feel better about the things I'm doing and to do more with my daughter, not be as tired, not hurt in movement as much. So just the overall working towards that goal, I think is what, knowing I'm doing that and then hopefully reaching it at a time period when I'm not too discouraged, meeting maybe
mm-hmm.
smaller goals and saying, okay, I want to be able to do this by this date instead of just overall. I want to be wonderful. I want to be happy. I want to be thin. I want to have all this energy and to know that I've done something. Because after I did 2 months of the heavy dieting, I noticed what a difference on me going upstairs and up and down stairs
mm-hmm.
and things were on my joints, and being more aware of what my body can do and should be doing, but not feel bad when I can't do it right then, but work towards getting better.
Okay. So I'm hearing overall healthy, to be able to have be there for your daughter,
mm-hmm.
Have more energy, less pain, just physically
right.
capable of doing. Any other benefits to the change of?
I think it changes the environment of the home totally.
Mm-hmm.
When you're better, it makes everybody else better too that's around you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that especially when you're not in a regular 9-to-5 job anymore, that your home is, quote, your job or whatever, you don't have an escape place.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I used to job. I was great. School was wonderful. That was my happy place. I came home if things weren't so great. It's okay. Tomorrow I go back to school. Well, now I'm here.
24/7.
24/7.
What would you say then? We know it's a full-time job, 24/7, as you said, for these. What would you say are your biggest motivations for these changes?
Honestly, just to live longer, because all these are factors on living longer.
Mm-hmm.
And living quality of a longer life, just quality. I mean, hereditary plays a lot of factors in that, and I think that I will got that part covered. But to have a quality of a longer life,
Mm-hmm.
so that I'm enjoying it and still doing things as I get older.
So quality of life,
Mm-hmm.
definitely.
Quality, yes.
Living a long quality. How would you say that? Living a longer life full of quality. I don't know if it's.
I know it's kind of hard to word.
Quality versus quantity.
Yes, exactly. Yes.
No,
I want both.
I agree. Now, reason why we kind of touched, we talked about your strengths, we talked about your balance. Again, and you kind of honed in on a lot of those things that we talked about last week in terms of relaxing, less stress, quality time with your daughter. And right now those kind of honed in on that. What I'd like to do, with your permission, is kind of go through an exercise of visualizing what that life would be like, whether it's 5 or 10 years down the line. Is that something that you're willing to do with me
Sure,
right now?
sure.
Fantastic. So what I want you to do is go ahead and close your eyes for a moment. And I want you to recall a time that you felt at ease, grounded in yourself, without worry. And is that something that you're able to recall, a moment like that?
As I was flipping through the pages. It's the best times, of course, are some of the vacations when you're away from everything. But there is other times that are at home when I just had a day that there wasn't a big goal set, and I just got to do what I wanted to do for a me day. Mm-hmm. And be it filled with my daughter, filled with other things, but also have my quiet time and not have the demands of family, which sounds terrible, but not having all the demands of a family life, where it was just those were, I think, my best. That would be a good day.
Okay, and what's going on? How are you feeling? What are you sensing in a day like that? It can be a real day, or it can be something in the future where you visualize that future you.
I think it would include probably something to do physically to relax, like either possibly sitting in the sauna, but also, or a massage, and then going and doing something creative with artistic or cooking, and actually having a class of some sort. So I feel like I'm getting better at it instead of just practicing what I already know, getting better. And then some kind of something outside, walking or such, and with my daughter. And I think those would be 3 things that would happen during the day that would mm-hmm. be good.
And how are you physically in this vision?
I think starting with the massage just as a whole is not just makes them mentally relaxed too. So I think that starts at where I can let go, because I tend to carry things in my back and such of stress. And when mm-hmm. I have a massage and then having something, and then also going out to eat, like having something favorite, like a Vietnamese food, something that I feel healthy, or sushi, something I feel good about eating afterwards. That always tends to, especially if I like it, then it's a double reward of something I like, mm-hmm. and then feel good that I nourish my body with something that was good for me. And that kind of carries over for the afternoon. And so then being able to just let go and focus on a class, because sometimes mm-hmm. I've taken classes and I can't focus because I've got other things in my head.
Yeah.
So I think that would be good.
So what I'm hearing, Dawn, is something where words that you painted were relaxing, mental clarity. Um, you talked a little bit about nutritional, physical well-being. Is there anything else you want to add?
I do like, doing some kind of exercise I enjoy, like biking or hiking or doing something that's an outside exercise.
Okay. Go ahead and open your eyes now. This
Okay.
this exercise was to help you get a glimpse of well-being.
Mm-hmm.
We kind of touched in on all the wheels of all the spokes on the wheel of balance. And I think you painted a very beautiful, inspiring picture by doing that. And how did it make you feel just thinking about
it? Actually, because it's not too big, it's actually, I was visualizing something I felt like that I can do, I can have. It's not the big giant dream picture. It was a doable visual, something that I actually could start achieving, or once a week or whatever it be that I have that day that I can do those things. And I think that would be really helpful for those other days of the taxing.
Yes. Now, if that vision were to come to fruition, what would be possible if that vision were a reality in terms of life in general for those other 6 days out of the week? You said one day, but
right.
What would your life be like?
I feel like I'd need to incorporate something on those goals every day. That there needs to be, it's like the ULA way, with you choose 2 things that you're working on for your goals and do 2 things, be it 30-minute of exercise, or be it take time to make a new recipe, or be it go for a walk. But you have to do 2. I have to incorporate those things that make me feel better every single day.
Okay.
Not just have a one day, but I have to do, one day would be great to have it totally dedicated to that, but to realistically also to have set those goals that make me more whole every day, 2 of them, and not, choose what it is it's going to be that day. So writing things down.
Now, I really appreciated you saying that what you visualized seemed very doable. And I think I find that very exciting, that you've created this picture that you feel that you are able to recreate. Now, what do you think are some of the challenges, the gaps, or what are the challenges that are creating the gap between what you have right now versus that vision?
Challenges is as extrinsic from outside. Extraneous, no, that's my
Intrinsic
word.
and extrinsic.
Yes. From extrinsic. There we go. The word's there. I think that's the battle, is to keep that from affecting me so much.
Okay.
So it'd be the outside battles instead of the inside battles. Because it seems like I know when I think about in the past, I have been inside, I could be a calm person and such, but it seems like situational, extrinsic things are what throws me off balance.
Okay. So when you say in the past when you were inside, are you talking about internally or physically inside?
Both.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I think physically, there was times in my life where situations were different that I would be more at peace. And I have to almost demand that that's going to be part of my life. And I think that's what's going to be different, is demanding that this is something I have to have and I want and I deserve. To value myself enough that that's important.
To value yourself.
Yeah, that other people's demands are not more important than my own demands are. And just to ward off evil.
So you mentioned environmental changes.
Yes.
And also kind of taking control of those. What other experiences or emotions, feelings, intrinsic, do you think you would need more of to get to that place? And if you need help, I do have a list here that might help, like less stress, relaxed. If you want to look through that and just kind of
let me
select,
look at the list.
yeah, go ahead. And these are just ideas. You can always add to it, but.
Yeah, I'm trying to. It's number one.
You can just go through and circle.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll get to that. Yeah, right now it's just a pinpoint.
And these are okay. Now ask the question again, so I make sure I'm.
So these are the ones that these are experiences you need more of, or to work on. Or I would say more of, because like less stress, like to help fill that void.
Yes.
In terms of now to get us to that vision of that ideal you, relaxed, quality time with your daughter, being creative outdoors. Now, looking at those,
the funny thing is one of these is like, so they start connecting and kind of like domino affecting.
Yes, they do.
Really,
they do.
Yes, because all of a sudden I don't want that one, but then I'm like, but this will, if I make that one important, this one will be better, etc.
Yeah.
So it dominoes.
Yeah, and we don't want to right at the time of doing that. We just wanted to kind of get a general sense of what are some of them. But now we will kind of narrow down. So I'll read off the list. You have less stress, more fun, pride, less anxious, creativity, and self-worth. Now, again, thinking of that vision that you created, which of these two experiences are the most, I would say, you were going through and ranking them, but I would say the most in need of having your day?
Probably, for sure, number one would be less stress.
Okay.
But the way it's kind of have to explain about the self-worth. I do value myself and such, but I put others above me. I mean, I think I am a worthy person and such, and taking steps to really show that is what it's kind of it's hard to explain.
No.
But I might, I don't have like, I'm a bad person or anything like that, but I just, to put myself first at times to be better for everything else is hard.
Yeah, and I understand that you've mentioned that before. One of them being, you said you have a hard time saying no.
Yes.
Okay. Now, basically, so we said less stress and self-worth.
Yeah, and saying no, it's when I have consequences with the no. I've learned that people outside of family, it's easier for me to say no. I don't worry about that and things like that. It's my immediate family that I can't say no to.
Now, let me ask you this. Saying no to them, I'm assuming, what would be an example?
Well, I don't want the backlash of it.
And do what? To do a self-care?
Yes. Yeah. Or saying, and being called selfish because you're doing that. Or, you always get to do what you want to do, which isn't a true statement because I'm always trying to do things for others, but not being recognized, not being known for myself or who I am,
If you were to be able to do the self-worth, what would be the benefits of doing that?
I think totally the stress level would be down because it would just be, okay, this is just the way that, there's a certain point you accept some things as they are and other things you just put up with. And you don't want to put up with, but you just do. And then that causes stress because you don't like it. It's just, it's a catch-22 as far as putting yourself in a stressful situation or allowing it to happen. And sometimes being scared, just fear.
So one of the benefits would be less stress. What would happen if there was no change?
Pieces of you keep dying.
Okay. So you lose
losing
yourself.
you lose yourself. Yes.
Okay. So, um,
and then you get scared. You wonder if you ever can get it back.
yeah.
Even if things change, can you go back to that person? Can you still, especially when you remember how you were?
So knowing the pros versus the cons of that for self-worth as well as less stress. You mentioned by giving yourself self-worth, you would have less stress. What do you think would be a self-care behavior that you would need to be able to give you those self-care needs?
One thing I think the need of the exercise. I mean that can be a stress reliever in itself, and creates endorphins. And I think making that and setting that's a good first start to say, I want this change. I need to have this, and I have to have it. And I think it can be accepted by other parties easier than some of the other things that you want to do. I mentioned that I wanted to take some classes and things, and it was just met with, but I think he can see value in exercise and me doing that. And we'll say, he says, I don't hold you back. And I'm like, yeah. But I think he couldn't, when you're saying that, I could remind him, that this is something I've got to have. And I think starting with that would be a good thing.
Okay. So in this exercise, we went through and visualized what an ideal you would be like well-being. Do you think that you said it was something that you feel that you can accomplish? You think that's something we can work towards and get closer to in 3 months from now?
I think so. And I think it would be a really good time to be doing it because Izzy's in school, and then it could be that's just part of my day and incorporate in with her being home in the summer. So I need to do it, Now
on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put that?
As what I need or what I want?
Of us being able to work in the next 3 months of getting you to your confidence.
Oh, I think I probably, I would hope for higher, but I would say a 7, I think.
Okay. And you said hope for higher. What do you think are some of the things that are preventing you from saying an 8 or a 9?
Life.
Well, then
reality, that part of me that my heart says one thing and my head says another.
Okay. Yes. So our 2 topics that we're going to work towards your self-being in the next 3 months is less stress and self-worth. What I'd like to do is brainstorm ideas, if that's okay with you. And it's super quick, super simple. We'll come up with 6 ideas, and they can be off the wall things but they relate to stress and self-worth actions that you can do. And if you want, I can go first and just go back and forth, kind of ping pong our way, and we'll create 6 of them. Of what are things, and you mentioned exercise being that goal. And we'll ping pong back and forth. So I'll go ahead and I'd say join a gym.
That's okay. That's exactly, because I'm sitting here and I have done better when I have a gym, go to a gym. And this is the first time I've done home, and it would be good for my off days to be able to do home. But I think having a place, and I want the location, it's got to be easy to get. I mean, there's a lot of factors under the gym, but I think definitely that I was thinking about that.
Okay.
Because that would be, and I have an idea for one. So.
Okay. So what's another action besides join a gym, something else that would help you with exercise?
Walking the dog.
Okay. Walking the dog. I'm going to say find an accountability partner.
Yeah.
Okay. And your turn?
Let's see. Choose 2 different times, not one during the day, but 2 different alternate times that you could do this. Okay. In case one fell through, then the other time for the day would be that. Because when I try to set one time and that time's gone, and I'm like, oh, well, there went that, So having 2 different times.
Okay.
Could be possible.
You mentioned that working at home has been a little tough. So I'm going to go a little bit in there, but maybe it will work, is to get written exercise home plans versus video that meet 30-minute home plans.
Okay.
You said an hour was too long.
Mm-hmm.
So home workouts, sorry.
Yeah, so that was, because I like doing the hour, but I felt the guilt of the hour was too much.
Mm-hmm.
And also another one is a workout program that included Izzy, because she loves
Okay,
exercise.
a mommy and me?
Yeah, a mommy and me one.
Okay.
Which she asks for and wants.
That's great.
Be bike riding or going the trails or whatever.
Okay. So kind of our ping pong brainstorm action became with join a gym, walking the dogs, accountability partner, creating 2 alternate times in the day to do your hour videos, or reduce it to 30-minute home workouts, and then a mommy and me exercise program.
Mm-hmm.
Of these, which one of these actions would you think rings true to you in terms of it fits in with your wellness vision and seems realistic to you?
The walking the dog would be double duty. It would make me feel less guilty, and then it would be, especially if I did it in the evening or something before bed, I think that would take stress away, plus being exercise.
Okay.
And it'd be good, know what I'm doing for taking care of them. So that would be a good one.
And now, is that something you can do with Izzy?
Yes. Yeah,
okay.
She could. Yeah, so she could do that too.
Okay, so let's walking the dog.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of that, what do you think are some of the challenges of doing that or preventing you from doing that now?
I think that I need to set a time again.
Okay.
Be it, it's hard, because Jim goes to work at 8:45. Well, he wants us to be around during his time period that he's there. But at 8:45, it's time to get ready for bed.
Okay.
But if we did a 15-minute one or a 20-minute one, it would probably be more relaxing and wind down and be helpful than stressful, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So set a time. As soon as Dad's gone, we get the dogs, we walk them 15, 20 minutes.
Okay. And you said he's gone at 8:45 at
Yes.
night? Okay. Now, in terms of how often would this be something that you think is achievable?
It needs to be minimum 5 days a week. It's better if we do it every day. And being at 15 or 20 minutes, it would be more of a doable thing. So I think it needs to become almost a daily habit, that for the benefit of the dogs and the child and the mom.
You're getting it all. And you also love the outdoors.
Yes, exactly.
I think this is a very, very creative solution in getting that outdoorsy time with your daughter, creativeness
animals,
in terms of being outside, being with your fur babies. I think this is a very, very creative action. And again, this is an experiment. There's no failures in our process.
Right.
We learn from them. Now, do you think 5 times a week is doable in regards to where you are in your, if you were to put on a scale of 0 to 10, your readiness to make this happen?
I think so.
Where would you be on a scale of 1 to 10?
I think I'm on about an 8 because it needs to be, and especially if I did it, plan it for the Monday through Friday as part of the school, getting ready to school, wind down routine. And then on the weekends, if it was possible, great. But that way, set it as school days, either be Sunday night or, if I skip Friday night, but incorporate it into the school day now to make it a habit.
So what else makes it an 8 versus say a 6?
Been thinking about it already.
Okay.
And how important it would be, and how with a new puppy, how much he really needs that at night to wind down. He usually was doing great, but the last couple of nights it's been this wild puppy, and his training, everything else, walking makes a huge difference with your dogs.
Okay. Well, what we're going to do now is create what we call SMART goal.
Okay.
It is specific, measurable, action-oriented, realistic, and time-based.
Okay.
You've already identified, walking the dogs 5 times a week for 15 to 20 minutes with your daughter Izzy in the evening. I think that pretty much covered the SMART goal.
Yeah, I think so.
So in terms of confidence of reaching this goal for the week, 5 times this week, how confident are you on a scale of 0 to 10?
I think I'm very confident. Yeah, I think it's very doable. And like I said, it covers so many bases. It's not just one thing. It covers a lot of bases in one activity. So I think it's a very much needed and needs to be a very high goal set.
Okay. So on a scale of 0 to 10,
I'd say this is like, 10.
Your confidence in doing it? I love it. I love it. So in terms of support structure, you mentioned bringing your daughter along. You said you've been thinking about it. So you've been in the preparation stage in regards to thinking about doing it. You have all the equipment necessary for the dogs.
Got the leashes, got the child, we've got shoes, we have coats, we have hats, we have umbrellas. Okay. Yeah, there shouldn't be any reason, even unless there's a dangerous storm out there, that we couldn't do it.
Yes. And so is there any, you mentioned the weather. We know we have some bad weather coming up. Is there any other challenges that might be coming up that we need to think about and have workarounds in regards to?
I don't think so. I think weather would be just about it,
Okay. I'm going to quickly write this goal for you.
Okay.
Or we'll rephrase it however we want, but we're going to hit on the walking the dogs with Izzy 15 to 20 minutes, 5 times a week at 8:45 p.m. or on or about. We'll put about 8:45 p.m. It sounds, based on your confidence, you said a 10 of being able to accomplish this. I'd like you to restate it, that you are ready to do, restate this goal.
I am going to.
Okay, so what is it? Their goal is going to be to...
I am going to walk the dog with my daughter 5 times a week. For 15 to 20 minutes minimum at 8:45 p.m.
I love it. I love it. And again, I love the fact that you were able to pull through your strengths of creativity, along with, keeping your daughter involved. You value your time with her. You value the time outdoors. You value your fur babies. So I really...
well, it teaches her responsibility too. It needs to be. She needs to be responsible for her puppy more than mommy taking care of him all the time. So.
Yes. And again, I appreciate all the effort that you put into this session. We visualized 3 months down the road of a more relaxed, stress-free vision where you have greater self-worth in regards to not feeling guilty about taking care of yourself. And for this week, we focused on a goal, a SMART goal for the week that or experiment, I'd like to say, to kind of work towards filling that gap, closing up that gap between now and that vision. Again, thank you for your hard work up to this point, from the sessions to the assessments. In regards to the coaching, any feedback you have of me, what you want to see more of?
No, it's been great. You're always accessible, and that makes a big difference. And then when I am in my quiet, retreated times, you check on me to make sure I'm still alive and working on something that'll make me healthier.
Great. And again, as the coach, I'm here just to help you think about what your strengths are and your vision, and kind of fill that gap and just help guide you. You are the one doing all the legwork, the hard work. The changes will only come if you work towards your goals that we set up. But other than that, thank you for another great session. And I know that you have mornings filled, so about this time on Monday next week, does that work for you?
Sounds good.
Fantastic. Well, thank you again, Dawn, and have a great day.
Thank you.